Start by thanking our hosts from the school district for the middle school to us. The Chamber and the Review have been doing these forums for a long time. We follow pretty much the same format. A week ago we did a forum for the Proviso Township High Schools, but tonight we are turning to the election for village council and mayor. We are dividing tonight into two parts, starting with the 5 commissioner candidates. They are running for 4 open seats. The way we do questions is by written form. So there are index cards at the back. Write your questions down. Lori Kokinas from the Chamber is going to collect them. We do a little bit of vetting of questions. We are looking to stay on public policy issues. And so if you go astray, we will throw that away. I will do some consolidating of questions and some follow-up on certain questions as well. We have drawn by lot the speaking order for tonight. So we have our 5 candidates in order. Each candidate has up to 3 minutes for opening remarks. And after that, we'll turn to questions. Questions can be directed to an individual candidate or to the group. Any question is open to any candidate to respond to if they choose. And there is a 90-second time limit on answering questions per candidate. We have a timer in front. He is ready to go. And we are ready to go. One final word. In the second half of our program, we are going to do the 2 mayoral candidates. They have each agreed to stay on until 8:15 if questions remain to be answered. So again, by lot, our first speaker is Tom Mannix.
Good evening. I'd like to first thank everyone for coming here this evening. I see many familiar faces in the crowd and some folks I haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet, especially the Forest Park Chamber and the Forest Park Review for putting this forum. I think it's a wonderful opportunity to address issues facing our community. As many of you know, my name is Tom Mannix. I currently serve as the Commissioner of Streets and Public Improvements. 4 years ago, I stood before you and asked for your support as well as your vote. And I received support and votes from so many Forest Park families. And today I stand here 4 years older, 4 years more experienced, and certainly a lot has changed for me in the last 4 years. I got married. I actually have a baby on the way. My wife's in the back there, so if you see me all of a sudden have to run out of here, you'll know why. Outside of my personal life as a commissioner here in Forest Park, I've seen a lot of progress and change here in the last 4 years. We've installed LED lights to save Forest Park families money, to make our streets brighter, our sidewalks safer. We've completed a village-wide street patching program. As I'm sure many of you drive through Oak Park and enter Forest Park and notice that we have a whole lot fewer potholes than some of our neighbors. We've secured grants and fundings to redevelop the Roosevelt Road corridor, a project that took almost 36 months to get ready, and now it's ready. In partnership with River Forest, we are breaking ground on Madison Street, west of Des Plaines this year. A large part of this project is being funded with grants because of the hard work of village staff. We're finalizing a multi-year flood remediation plan that will allow the village to plan infrastructure upgrades far into the future. But more importantly, allow us to go out there and secure grants from Illinois EPA, MWRD, the county, the state, and the federal government. I'm so proud to serve as Commissioner of Streets and Public Improvements, in part because of the great group of people we have working at the village, especially the Public Works Department. We have a lot of weather events in our community. We also have a lot of community events in Forest Park. And one thing I know is that the good folks at Public Works will be there, rain or shine, sleet or snow, clean up and make our community beautiful. And for that, I'm very, very proud. On April 7th, you'll be able to exercise your right to vote. Your vote will help determine the path and direction our village will take for the next 4 years. Once again, I'm asking for your support. I would be humbled and honored to have your vote. Tonight, I look forward to having a civil discussion about the progress we've made as a village, the progress we intend to make moving forward over the next 4 years. Thank you.
some of you, you may know me by my maiden name of Rehorn. I have called Forest Park my home for 32 years, and together with my husband Eric, we are raising our 2 children, Jackson and Madeline, in the house where my parents raised my siblings and me. I earned my bachelor's degree from Loyola University, Chicago, and I am currently the recreation supervisor at the Park District of Forest Park. I am also a coach for First Alliance Lions Juniors Volleyball Club. I've always been passionate about making Forest Park a better place to live, and have put forth much effort into achieving that goal through both my work at the Park District and the volunteer work I have done throughout the village. I have volunteered at Betsy Ross School, the Chamber of Commerce, with the community-wide PBIS team, as well as serving on the village's Youth Commission and the Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee. I have also coached for the Forest Park Youth Soccer Association. All of this, along with my employment at the Park District, have proven to me the tremendous impact volunteers have on a community. I am committed to making Forest Park a better place to live by investing my time and energy into the projects and challenges coming up in the next several years. I can offer a perspective that embraces the passion I feel for Forest Park, a perspective that includes the schools, businesses, and community engagement. My strengths lie in my ability to see multiple viewpoints on issues and to find solutions that work for the residents of Forest Park. I've had an active role in the Park District and Chamber events where group consensus amongst people with differing opinions was achieved. My life experiences as a single working woman, a stay-at-home mom, and a working mother offer different perspectives that many women in Forest Park can relate to. Additionally, representation of our multicultural town is essential to ensuring the village is not blind to the experiences of other cultures and ethnicities. As a parent, homeowner, and longtime resident of Forest Park, I have many of the same concerns that you do. Flooding is a major concern that has affected almost everyone I know in Forest Park and needs to be actively addressed. As someone who is personally affected by the flooding, I feel strongly that we need to develop a comprehensive 5 to 20-year plan on improving the infrastructure. This plan needs to be shared with residents, and we need to begin now in developing this plan. Forest Park needs to continue to be a destination for new businesses, as we have seen through the redevelopment of Madison Street over the last 10+ years. The revitalization of Roosevelt Road is an essential component in keeping Forest Park a marketable business destination. Acquiring Altenheim property was a key achievement for the village of Forest Park. The property is the largest piece of open land left within our boundaries, and we need to look at all the options carefully to ensure the use of the property best benefits the residents of Forest Park. The decisions of our elected officials directly impact our lives, and we need to have an active voice in who's making these decisions. My passion to make a difference in the town in which I was raised, and then returned to in order to raise my own family, is the driving force behind my community involvement. My desire to be engaged, to engage others and plan for the future of our town is something that runs deep in me. On April 7th, I ask that you give me the opportunity to help plan for our future. Thank you.
Good evening. I want to start by thanking everybody for coming out tonight. We all have busy schedules, and having people show up just makes you feel great about what our community is about. I want to thank the Forest Park Review and the Forest Park Chamber for putting this event on so we can come out and speak to the residents about our ideas for the future of Forest Park. Earlier today, we were asked to cut down our speaking time from 5 minutes to 3, so I had to shorten my speech, and there's some things missing, but I will be sticking around afterwards. I'll address any questions anybody has. Be here as long as you need to get around to doing that. I love to talk about Forest Park because it's my favorite subject. Somebody asked me recently, why am I running? Haven't you had enough of the scrutiny? Thought missing a beat. I told them I run because I love Forest Park. I built my home, my family, and my businesses here. This may sound hokey, but to me it's a little Mayberry-ish. I love being part of the team that has helped set the path that the village is on today. As Commissioner of Accounts and Finance, I've overseen 4 straight years of balanced budgets. We balance those budgets all the while seeing declining revenue sources. At the Village Hall, we have a wonderful group of professionals that have done the belt tightening while still providing the services that citizens have come to expect from Forest Park. I'm happy to point out that both unions that represent the employees in my department have endorsed my candidacy. I want to thank the fire department and the ASCME unions for recognizing my continued hard work. They make the village a better place. As we go forward, we'll be faced with challenges to the village's finances that the state has threatened. They're looking to fill a hole that they created with the finances of you, the local citizens. I will continue to lobby the governor's office to not take away the local distributive share fund. All the while, I will work to find other methods to increase income to the village of Forest Park. Over the last 4 years, along with Mayor Calderon and Commissioner Mannix, I've lobbied for funds for improving Roosevelt Road and West Madison Street. Those efforts have paid off. I'm happy to say, in addition to the TIF district on Roosevelt Road, we received a grant for $2.3 million to beautify and improve the area around Roosevelt Road. We also received $1.6 million fixing up Madison Street west of Des Plaines Avenue. We'll be working with River Forest this summer for those improvements. I believe in being green, but it must make sense in green, money that is. We've recently installed new LED streetlights that have not only helped the environment, but saved the village $75,000 annually in electric and maintenance costs. Last Monday, we voted to redo 6 alleys in a more green way than just the cement stripe right behind your house. There'll be water receptors that will help lead the water into the ground instead of just the sewers. I will continue to work towards more environmentally friendly options when they're financially viable. In closing, I want to thank my wife Jenny and my kids, whose help and understanding is what allows me to serve you as commissioner. I would like to thank everyone for their time tonight and ask on April 7th if you'll vote for me to help keeping Forest Park moving forward.
Thank you all for coming out this evening. It's great to see many familiar faces in this audience, as well as some new ones that I hope to engage this evening. My name is Daniel Novak. I'm a lifelong resident of Forest Park. Photo op right here. My name is Daniel Novak, a lifelong resident of Forest Park, instilled with the value of community service. I'm married to my beautiful wife Samantha for 10 years come May. We have 3 young children that are enrolled to Forest Park District 91, Story Hannah, Nolan David, and Cooper Daniel. I'm the son of David and Carol Novak. My father served as Park District leader for 35 years in the Park District of Forest Park. It's there where he met Miss Carol, my mother, who actually started there before him, who was the dance instructor. My brother is Nick, the Forest Park Little League president, and I'm the brother-in-law to Jen Gales, Forest Park School District 91 teacher, and uncle to their 3 beautiful children, Nick, Matt, and Katie. My family has always been involved and dedicated to our community. I wish to continue in that history and want to take my place as a leader and role model within our village and for you, the people. I enjoy making a difference and having an impact on others. The Novaks are good at this, and we know how to have a good time along the way. It's been 24 years since I last stood on this stage. I believe it was Bernard the Bear in an 8th grade holiday special. So with that said, I know that my family is proud of me and the man I became today. I want to thank them for raising me. I'd also like to thank many people in this room. Not only did my parents instill me with the values that I practice today, this community and village played a vital role in that as well. I've chosen to run for office to make a difference and give back to the village that raised me. My professional success, combined with my deep personal ties to Forest Park, will allow me the opportunity to produce, provide, and positively impact others. In my current role as Superintendent of Special Facilities for the Whedon Park District, I manage the administrative planning, organization, direction, and supervision of facilities operated by that park district. These include 2 large-scale outdoor aquatic facilities, a fitness center, a county historical museum, a 5-acre zoo, and 10 large-scale sustainable community events. I have over 15 years of municipal experience. In addition to my daily responsibilities, I've spent the last 6 years of my career leading, coordinating, and executing the agency's strategic and master plan. The 3 goals I have for the next 4 years of this term would remain your independent voice, to engage and invest in residents and business owners, and to always seek ways to enhance Forest Park. My values of integrity, commitment, service, dependability, kindness, and my willingness to be approachable and adaptable will guide me in my career as village commissioner. I plan to engage and satisfy our residents and business owners, and on April 7th, I ask that you vote Novak. Thank you.
acts to follow. My name is Joe Burns. I'm running for village commissioner. I think a lot of the people here know me. I'd like to thank the Chamber of Commerce and Forest Park Review for putting this together so we could all come out and find out what we all stand for. I moved into Forest Park in 1961. I was going to Paul Prep Academy down on Kenmore Avenue. I moved in here with my parents, and through those years we finally wound up in 1965 where I went into the military. We spent from 1965 to 1969 in the United States Air Force, attained the rank of Staff Sergeant, and also led men. In 1974 I joined the Forest Park Police Department, rose through the ranks, and was the Deputy Chief of Police when I retired. I also led men and women in those areas. We worked as a cohesive group, started many programs with the police department, the DARE program. I noticed one of the people that are here right now, Steve Johnson, was in the beginning with the DARE program. And it was a very effective program with our kids. After I retired, I went into private practice. I was a director of security for 4 different hospitals, and I led men and women to keep the areas secure around the hospitals and inside the hospital. I was also a safety officer for one of the hospitals where we did the accreditation for that hospital. In my private life, I have my wife Sandy, my daughter Heather here. Tom's out of town, and I got 2 grandkids, and one Matt who's down in Nashville, and a great musician, and Jack is a junior over at Fenwick High School. That's what this is all about, families. When we come into Forest Park, we look at the families that are here, the families that have grown up here, and we want to continue that family environment. There's a lot of things that have to be done in the next 4 years. I think I'm the kind of person that can do that for you. I think we have the problems on Roosevelt Road that we can fix with the TIP district bringing extra revenue as far as sales tax and property taxes into those areas, and also a revitalization of some of the places up on Madison Street. I was also a Park District Commissioner where I had the honor of working with Dave Novak and Larry Pikars and 7 different commissioners. During that time, we went out and we got a referendum passed. We built the soccer field. We built the spray park and the aquatic center. We took the lights out of the center field area and we put in Musco lighting for the softball tournaments and Little League, and we put in new dugouts. That was working together, and this is what this is all about. We have to have a cohesive unit in Village Hall that can sit down and talk over their differences and take the votes that really count and get the job done for the people that are sitting here right now. We're dealing with the people's money, and I hope on April 7th, when you want to cast that ballot, you remember my name and punch that ticket for me. Thank you.
Since we're being courteous, I'd like to lead with this. We're developing a multi-year plan for flood remediation. We understand that it's a large issue, not only Forest Park, but every community in the west suburban area. we need that plan put in place so that we can begin to move forward with securing grant dollars like some other communities have. It took us a little bit of time to actually get to the point where we can afford to do the plan. Now we can afford to do the plan, get the plan done, we can present the plan to every single family in the village of Forest Park, and we're able to use that plan, go out there and secure grant dollars so that we can actually begin separating our sewer systems. As we all know, it's a combined sewer system in town, which leads to flooding issues. I'm excited about the fact that we are moving forward with that. It's going to take a couple, 18, 25 years to actually fully fix the flooding issues facing our community. We need to start. We did get started. I'm very pleased with the fact that we're going to have a great plan so that we can begin working on that almost immediately.
And to tee off that, it's been in the works for quite a while, but there's a lot of moving parts to fixing flooding, and the biggest one is dollars. Last year, or a year and a half ago, a referendum was passed for 0.5% on sales tax. What that is towards is infrastructure improvements. We've done a bunch of alleys with it, but now we have the match money for when we can go after federal and state money to do the sewer separation. To start doing that, we now have the money. We're getting the plan that should be probably presented to the village council the next month or so from the village engineering firm. But we also have the financing side to be able to match up. Overall, it's about a $90 million project to separate the sewers through the entire community. And it's going to take a long time. It's going to take over 20 years. And it's going to start in one area in Forest Park and work its way through. So what may be affecting your house today may be affecting it for a while somebody else's is getting fixed, but it's got to go into a long-term plan. But until we start moving, nothing's going to get done. And there's a plan coming to get moving.
Obviously, I don't know anything about the plan, so I think what we need to do is we need to look at the Metropolitan Sanitary District to find out if they have a runoff. Where does this water go to when it hits our sewers? Does it just sit in there? Or did they take that quarry and are they dumping it into the quarry? You also have to look at IDOT. The Eisenhower Expressway also floods. That means that water is coming into our system, into our sewers. I don't think there's any separation there. So there should be monies available from IDOT to help us fix some of our sewer problems. And like these two other fellows said, you know, it's going to take money and it's going to take time. And if we do the things right, we'll get it done. And first 4 years is very important with the people agreeing to disagree, but getting it done for the best interest of the people here.
Flooding. Again, I was pleased to see that the city council or village commission here entered a long-term agreement with Crystal Burke Engineering, I believe in August 2014. So they're making progress in regards to developing this plan. At the end of the day, it is expensive. It costs money. The capital improvement fund, the sales tax that Mark mentioned, is all ways to creatively fund this thing. I would charge the village commission, the village administrator as well as staff to pursue grants that would help offset any projects, especially green initiatives, environmentally friendly projects that would help stormwater runoff and water quality protection.
I'm going to echo what these four gentlemen have said, but I'm also going to make sure that we challenge the council to make sure that the residents of Forest Park know what that plan is going forward, and that we keep in touch with everybody in town so that as the plan progresses, because it is going to be a long-term plan, that the residents know where we are in that plan and what to expect, so that, you know, we're not sitting around going, okay, we're working on this, why is my basement still flooding? Well, we need to know where we are in that plan, and everybody in town needs to know where their portion, where their area of town falls within that plan. So I just want to make sure that as we move forward with this, that we're in communication with the residents so that they know where we're at.
There's a lot of interesting questions here, so we're going to try to move through them. This goes to perception that Forest Park can sometimes be a little insular. So how do you plan to engage Forest Park citizens who were not born and raised here? How do you plan on engaging the changing demographics in the community?
One of the things that I've learned as the recreation supervisor at the Park District is the need to reach out to the new generation of people who live here through different types of media. So we can't always rely on print media to get information out. Social media is a big part of what I do at the Park District. And along with that comes with just talking with people. One of the things that happened today, I was waiting to pick up my kids from school, and I got a text from a mom at Garfield. She said, hey, some of the moms are asking if you can do a skate park lesson at the Park District. And I was like, that's amazing. I've been trying to work on that, but now that I know that there's more interest in it, I absolutely will follow up on that. By the way, keep sending me these text messages. For me, it's about making that personal connection and reaching out to people. I'm on a couple different social media groups where people feel very comfortable saying, hey, Rachel, have you thought about this? And I try very hard to immediately respond to that. So I think it comes in part to figuring out what the media outreaches are for the people in our town and making sure that we stay on top of those.
I would echo that social media seems to be the new way to communicate with people. I have an active Facebook account, and I monitor that. I had somebody send an inquiry to me the other day on Facebook, and I immediately sent them my phone number to discuss the topic. I would like to get more people involved. Unfortunately, we haven't had enough volunteers. I would love to see everybody in this room send an application in to be on a board, because we need more people involved. I think when things are going well in a community, people tend to sit back and enjoy them. I don't know if we're insulary or if we're successful. People just like the way it's going. But please, please get involved. I'd love to see more.
Well, when we do things, we do them together. Just because we're members of a group here that's running for office, we're running for everybody here. And I think everybody should be involved in the village. Everybody's here who's concerned about the village, and they know they're going to go out and they're going to vote on April 7th. Your involvement doesn't stop there. Your involvement means coming to council meetings to find out what's going on at the council, find out how your council is running and what they're doing with your hard-earned dollars. When I go to those council meetings, I see the same 5 and 6 faces. It's time for people to come out and voice their opinions. If they don't like something, voice it at a council meeting. You got time to do that. Another thing we got to deal with is the youth of our village. We have to find more things for the kids to do. I mean, that's a big problem here, that we don't give them enough activities to do. The park is great, but what do we do as a village to put more programs in there? We have a rec board and we have a youth commission. Those people should be working hand in hand to get the job done and get our kids involved in different programs.
Again, part of my platform is engage and invest in people. I truly believe I am good at that. Again, I pledge to encourage community involvement and foster that community spirit. As a park and rec professional, like Rachel said, we're all about investing in people, making that difference, making an impact. Community spirit, community vibes. With the volunteering aspect, what I've learned over the years is people need to be asked. It's that FaceTime, it's that one-on-one engagement, getting to know them, getting to have that dialogue with them. Social media, to be brutally honest with you, once I started this campaign, is the only time I've opened a Facebook account in my life, and thank you to my wife and friends that are helping me with that. But again, it's FaceTime, it's engagement, asking people, engaging in people. Again, Forest Park, we have a long history, and again, everyone knows everyone. But again, being welcome into your neighbors. I had the privilege of coaching T-ball baseball for the first time this last summer. I think I knew a handful of kids on the team, but it engaging another dozen families, just getting to know them, some new at Forest Park. And again, I consider all those people friends now, and then just fostering that community spirit, community engagement, and FaceTime is key.
Civic engagement is a very tough issue. We're all very busy. We're running all over the place. It's difficult to get people engaged and involved. One of the things that I'm proud to have started working on almost a year ago now is we're starting the Forest Park Rotary Club to get people involved. There's ample opportunities to get involved in other civic organizations. We're trying to provide just one more opportunity to bring people in, engage them in volunteering, helping raise money for good causes. It's something that I'm very proud that we're taking a lead role in starting that organization. We have a couple folks from Kiwanis that have now partnered with us with Rotary, that we're going to be able to grow those two organizations to begin to branch out and reach some of the younger generations, because 34-year-olds, I run all over the place all day long, work 60, 70 hours a week. You just have to eventually make time to get involved. And I think that I can appeal to some of the younger generation who are just moving to Forest Park, starting a family like my wife and I are, and say, you need to cut out 2 hours a month to get involved civically. It's worth it, it's fulfilling, it's going to make you feel better, and you're also going to be able to help the community, which I think is very important. And I think that we collectively as a village and as a community, not just the folks sitting up here, but everyone sitting out in the audience, need to take a better approach to say, let's ask some people to get involved. Let's go to Quants, let's go to Rotary, let's show up at the different community functions, cruise night, etc. I think that's very important for helping to build the community.
Let me ask a follow-up. Depending on how this election goes, this could wind up being a village council that is made up of 5 white men. Is that acceptable in a town that is minority white?
No. In all seriousness, you know, there's several women in here, and I think that, you know, I mean, I am the only female up here, but we have a voice, and we have a very different opinion and very different perspective on things. You know, my nationality as well, I'm half Filipino and my dad is Caucasian. Forest Park is almost 50% non-white. So, you know, I think that when you choose your village council, you need to be aware of the fact that, you know, we need to represent the demographics of this town.
Anyone else? Other thoughts?
I agree. Well said.
I'm voting for it.
This is a question directed to Rachel and to Joe. How can you maintain your independence since you have been aligned with a slate? Most of you have in the past had some conflicts with Mayor Calderon, or perceptions of conflicts. So why are you working together as a slate?
Well, I'd first like to remind people that we don't vote by slate in Forest Park. You get to vote individually for each person when you go out there. But the question has come up several times. It's pretty well known that Joe and I have both had some public disagreements with Mayor Anthony Calderon. I don't think that that definitely excludes us from ever agreeing with him ever again. I sat down with him when we talked about running, and there were a lot of things that we shared in common, despite the fact that we did have a somewhat public disagreement several years ago. And I think that when you talk about government, people are going to have disagreements, and that's not always a bad thing. And so the fact that I think people like Joe and myself are able to get past that, you know, we're able to move past that, and we're able to still continue to work on. We're not holding grudges. I don't think Mayor Calderon's holding a grudge against either of us. And so I think for the two of us, it shows that we can work together with people who haven't always necessarily agreed with us in the past.
I think somebody's talking about something that happened back in 1999. I don't think half of you people were around in 1999, but in Forest Park. You know, if we go back and we keep on holding grudges back that long, I shouldn't be up here. I should be a person that can get over something like that. And I have. A long time ago when I started working with the mayor in the food processing thing where we deliver food to the needy people in Forest Park, where I seen him meet troops and see them go out into a war zone, gone into harm's way, and told them that when you come home, I'll be there to welcome you home. I see that man in a different light than a lot of people here do. And not only the mayor, he's a human being. And I can get over that. As far as running as a slate, I think we've had disagreements already. We have a disagreement on the Proviso Township and the school board there. I think Rachel and I have signs in our front yard for all 3 candidates. I mean, we're disagreeing. We just agree to disagree on some of these issues. And that means if something comes up that I don't agree with, I'm not going to go along with it. We'll try to talk it out and work things together, but that doesn't mean I'm a rubber stamp for anything, and I don't think Rachel is either. The slate is a terrible thing to use because, like she said, you vote for the individual when you go in that voting booth.
Can I ask real quickly if we'd start maybe with Tom, go straight down in terms of who you are backing for District 209 School Board?
Ned Wagner and Claudia Medina and just for clarity's sake, because I do have a sign for the team up in my front yard during this, that just came up.
I am supporting the whole team.
I'm supporting Ned and Claudia. I think our homegrown Forest Park people need to get in there. We need to get a voice on Proviso. And I think they're the voice that needs to be there. And those are the two that I'm supporting.
You know, I met Claudia at a meet and greet, and boy, she's a dynamite person. I worked with Ned on Kiwanis, and I know he's a dynamite guy. And then I met Miss Kelly, and I thought that would be a good fit. And if they all three win, they can do some tremendous good over at Proviso Township 209 in the schools district over there. So I think if they get a couple more people to agree with them when they get elected, we're going to see a whole different thing with the school board. So I'm going along with all three.
Again, I'm voting for all three as well.
This should be a pretty simple, direct question, so you could be short in your response. By more than 2-1, Forest Park voters rejected video gaming in a 2013 non-binding referendum. Do you pledge to follow the recommendation of the voter to continue the ban on video gaming? Yes or no?
It's not a yes or no question with all due respect, so I'm just going to be very brief. It was initially my idea that we needed to take that to a non-binding referendum and be able to have a public discussion, debate about that issue. And I've said from day one, after the state of Illinois passed video poker's in, we need to continuously be examining every opportunity that we have as a village for revenue sources. And specifically about video poker, every 18 to 24 months, we as a community need to have another discussion about it, right or wrong, indifferent. There was an election that was held 2 years ago on their referendum. I think that we need to have another discussion about that. I'm not necessarily in support of video poker, but I believe from people that have approached me that they want to have another discussion about it. I think that we owe that to the residents and the families.
I would echo with what Commissioner Annex has stated. I think it's something that, you know, we can't go against the non-binding referendum until we do have a chance to talk to the people of Forest Park, but a lot has changed in the last 2 years. There's a lot more data out there as far as statistics in regards to video gambling, and so I think that we need to take a look at that, present that to the public, and again, go back for public feedback before we make any changes in that decision.
There'll be a lot of echo. I agree. Over the last 2 years, it's come out. I think there was a lot of worry about how it's affected other communities. I was against it initially with the revenue sources possibly drying up from the state of Illinois. I think we need to put everything back on the table. We need to do that publicly. We need to hold public hearings, get people's opinions. I think the police, if it moves forward, the police needs to do a survey of the surrounding communities to find out the impact of gambling on those communities, if there's been negatives. But moving forward, we have to take a look at all revenue sources.
No, I'm going to have to somewhat agree with my compatriots here. What we have to do is we have to go out and we have to survey the area. We have to survey at least 10 towns around us. Everybody around us has these things. It'd be very simple to find out. Are there any calls for service in the bar that just put the video gambling in there? What about the neighborhoods? Have they been affected? Has the crime rate gone up? You know, a lot of things go into there. But I think when it finally comes down to it, we have to ask all you folks how you feel about it. I think that there's going to have to be meetings, getting the opinion of the people. This is what we talk about, community involvement. Getting the people to put forward what they think is the best way to go with this. And if it's no, it's no. If it's yes, it's yes.
Again, very similar. I'm definitely in favor of the dialogue taking place. Informational meetings are key. We need to hear from all sides. Residents, business owners should be heard. The revenue impact as well. And again, this issue should be brought up and at least in dialogue amongst the village council after the input is received.
We are down to the last 7 or 8 minutes. What should, best case scenario, 2-3 years out, what should the Alpine property look like?
Well, I'm for keeping it green space. I think that there's been so many different opportunities to sell it that everybody's made a putting their views forward that they wanted to keep it a green space. But if we do that, let's clean it up. Let's make it a place where people can go into and enjoy it. It's, we got a broken down building in there, and we've got potholes in the ground, and the dog park is not too far from happening there. You know, a portion of that for a dog park. You know, what we got to do is we got to fix it up. If we're going to keep it, it's going to be green space. We got to fix it up. We got to make it not an eyesore, a place where people can go and enjoy it.
Aldenheim could be a crown jewel of Forest Park. It could also be a revenue source, and I'm open to taking a look at both of those things. I think I favor leaving it as a green space, but developing it in some way so it's of use to the community. If it's a band shell, if it's even a par 3 golf course, something where it can be used, because in its current state, it is junk, as you said, potholes, gravel. It needs to be cleaned up. It's going to be paid off in a couple of years, and we should take the money that we're funneling towards those payments and funnel it towards the improvements on the land. Whether we finance it to put in a band shell, or we finance it at some other point, you know, we do Ribfest up there, we should upgrade the facilities, we should upgrade the park. Once we pay it off, we should take that money and put it towards improvements.
Again, the comprehensive plan, they were in favor of green space. I believe it should be green space. Again, I'm a park and recreational professional. I'm all for green space. But with that green space, it can be revenue producing green space, similar to what Mr. Hosty said with that. My experience, I host 10 large-scale special events in my current community a week that I work in. The space we host those events in is half the size of the Altenheim property. These are large-scale, revenue-producing, sustainable events that give over $90,000 annually back to non-for-profits, on top of the park district being able to invest back into its infrastructure and capital improvements. So with that green space, keep it green, but again, find creative ways to program it, and that all can enjoy.
Dan stole my line from the other park and rec person up here. Kind of to piggyback off of what the three of them said, green space doesn't just mean a field of grass. There's definitely ways to create income on that. My biggest thing is that Forest Park is very landlocked. We can't really go anywhere outside of our boundaries to find more land. And for the most part, there's not much land available. Actually, I think that is the last piece of open land, aside from the Park District, who is developing the Roost property right now. And so whatever it is that we choose to do, and at this point, I'm being a park and rec person as well, would like to see it be some type of income-producing green space. We just need to be diligent and make sure that it is useful for the residents of Forest Park.
I think first and foremost is what Rachel just said, like to dovetail into that, is useful for the residents of Forest Park and Forest Park families. I don't believe that we should turn that property into something that's going to be useful for folks outside of Forest Park. While they may benefit from it, I think that the primary use needs to be beneficial to Forest Park families. And just, I'd like to circle back on a question that was only asked to a couple folks specifically that I didn't have an opportunity to address. You know, there's been a lot of talk about rubber stamps and slates, and at the end of the day, there's a difference between being a rubber stamp, which I don't believe anyone up here is a rubber stamp for anyone, and agreeing to disagree without being disagreeable, to have civil discourses. I believe that we just showed up here that we are all bringing an air of civility to the debate, the discourse, the campaign that's going on here. I've been extraordinarily impressed with every candidate up here that we've been able to talk about the issues facing Forest Park families without personal attacks, personal affronts, and actually try and keep the progress moving forward here in Forest Park. So for that, I would like to compliment everyone who's up here, as well as the good folks at Forest Park who allow us to have this type of debate and discussion so that we can continue moving forward as a village and community. Thank you.
Mark, you were pretty specific in saying that there is potentially a funding source for some investment after the property is paid off.
Well, we're currently making the payments on it.
So that'll be paid off shortly, and that can be a funding source going forward. Real quickly, could you give some sense of what process ought to be undertaking in order to make a plan for the Aldenheim?
Public forums. I think they need to be led with ideas, not just a, hey, come out and spitball, but put together ideas and then put them into the public and see what people like. Is a band shell the way to go? Is, you know, a par 3 golf course or something like that? What do people want? But let's put a couple ideas out there and hear what the opinions are against them, or for those ideas. I think Aldenheim, 10 years from now, could be the most amazing part of Forest Park. You know, we'll have it paid off soon. We'll have the source of money that we've been paying off that we can put towards improving it. We can take a loan out and do big things right out of the gate. There's a lot that can be done, and I think in 10 years, we're going to be looking at something that's going to be unbelievable.
Others have a thought on what the process ought to be to decide this? And it's been kind of lingering.
Well, it's definitely got to be an involvement of the public. I don't think that, you know, if you're going to vote for 5 people on April 7th, a mayor and 4 commissioners, you want to hold their feet to the fire. And that means with any decisions that are going to be made by the people that are elected, you're going to take a hard look at those decisions that are made, whether you like them or you don't like them. You're probably going to let the people know you don't like them. This, or you like them. But what you got to do now is, if we're talking about Aldenheim, we have to get input. Whoever's going to be elected can't just turn around and say, well, this is what we're going to make it, and then half the town doesn't like it. It's got to be input from the public. You know, this is what it's all about. Working with the public to better Forest Park.
We have some input on it from the Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee, which I think is a good start. From there, you know, we can take those ideas and expand it in the sense that, you know, we've got some ideas narrowed down from the input that we got from the Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee surveys that were going around. We definitely need to do more than that. So I think we've kind of got to start on that, and we just need to continue going through that process as we continue to narrow down what it is that will fit the best interest of most of the residents in Forest Park.
With that said, it's all about engaging you guys come April 8th if I'm elected, getting you involved. Again, I truly believe I can engage you, get your input, and we can get the ball moving on this and the dialogue starting to see what you really want. The strength I'll bring to the table is guaranteeing that dialogue between you and myself, being your voice, will take place.
Yeah, just briefly, because I know we're running over our time. Actions speak louder than words. We have approximately 70-ish people in here by my count. We're about to have a 5 to 10 minute break. Excuse me. There's scraps of paper up there. You have an idea for Aldenheim. Why don't you write it down and give it to me? Right? Forest Park 2015. I'll go on there and I'll tell you exactly what people said on there. Actions speak louder than words. If you want to voice your opinion about what you think we should do with Aldenheim, let me know right now. Write on a scrap of paper and give it to me. I appreciate it.
Thank you to the 5 candidates for commissioner.